Chest up, shoulders back. This is Revival Fitness, your home for gains and brains, and I've been asked by a number of people to react to this new video from Jeff Nippard. How much muscle did I gain in 365 days? Scientific experiment.
For the next year, I'm going to train as perfectly as humanly possible. That means I'm going to run the most science-based, optimized plan and track every single set of every workout.
Okay, so right off the bat, we have to address this. Most optimal, scientific, science-based. Those terms really don't mean anything, okay? Optimal does, at least as an adjective itself, right? Optimal means the perfect, most effective way that something could possibly be done. Okay, sure. That's also subjective, though. Now, how they frame optimal is science-based. And keep in mind, guys, like so many other terms that you see, even natural, science-based is fundamentally about marketing. Okay, because anybody can claim to be science-based. Anybody can splash up studies on the screen for half a second and highlight parts of them, no matter how out of context they may be, and say, oh, the science proves this. Then somebody else says, actually, the science says this, and it contradicts what they said. And nobody can possibly read every single research paper in exercise science or any field. There's going to be picking and choosing, there's going to be blind spots, there's going to be bias in some form. And to give Jeff credit, he was on this many years ago, before it became a complete wildfire like it is today. Every single person on Instagram and TikTok and on here is science-based. And the pushback, as I predicted even years ago, has come. We are returning now to people making fun of a lot of the so-called science-based lifters because they've become so insufferable.
No skip workouts, no lazy sets, no exceptions. I'm also going to track every single calorie I eat.
Does this say soy milk on the wall? First of all, plants don't have tits. They don't create milk. But where are you where it says soy milk on the wall? What are you doing?
To start the experiment, I'll get a DEXA scan to measure my body fat percentage and an ultrasound to measure my muscle size.
Oh, Jeff is pregnant?
But here's the best part. For any of you that are new to the gym, I'm going to also do the exact same experiment on my biological brother, who's a similar height as me, with the similar genetics, but here's the catch. He does not lift at all.
I don't keep up with Jeff a whole lot. I did not know he had a brother. Those of you that watch him more can correct me. Has he ever been on Jeff's channel or any of his content? But the interesting thing, though, even with siblings, there can be significant genetic variance, even among them. Some of you probably have siblings right now. They may build muscle seemingly faster than you, lose fat easier, they stay lean easier, they jump higher, better at a given lift, whatever it's going to be. So in terms of getting as close of a comparison as possible, a sibling is very good. It's better than random people selected for a given study. Genetic twins would be the best one. I don't know the age difference here. Also, I like how his brother is just in a wife beater, like the nips are hanging out. He just doesn't care.
He's a completely untrained beginner.
This is a physique that is controversial because some would call it skinny fat. I would not. This is fat. You can clearly see objectively, he's above 30% body fat in my estimation.
This way, we'll get to see the difference between someone who's been training for over 15 years versus someone totally new to lifting.
And no matter your level of experience right now, something that you need to be doing to optimize your muscle growth is training hard. Genuinely hard. Pushing yourself. You might sweat, you might strain, you might grunt, but it's that effort that pushes you to the other side. And you may have experienced this yourself. I know I have. When you train hard, oftentimes you will run into a roadblock in the form of cramping. My most common spots are the abs, the hamstrings, the calves, and the shoulders. And I tried everything. I drank gallons of water. I did all kinds of stretches pre and post-workout. I put so much salt on all my food, and nothing really worked. Until I tried Magna, the sponsor of today's video. Magna is an electrolyte supplement that is the perfect blend of all the major electrolytes, not simply a salt bomb, with a specific focus on all of the types of magnesium that you need to optimize performance as well as recovery. It's estimated that nearly 3/4 of people are deficient in magnesium today. It's involved in over 600 processes in the body, and it's proven to help lower blood pressure, reduce cortisol, speed up recovery, reduce cramping, and even mobilize ATP. And Magna contains these three types at 211 milligrams per serving. Malate for energy, glycinate for recovery, and L-threonate for focus. Magna is trusted by elite athletes across the world in a variety of sports. It is NSF certified, it contains zero sugar, it also has vitamin B6 and B12 as well. So if you would like to give them a try, be sure to visit drinkmagna.com and use my code REVIVAL to save 15% off of your order.
Despite training as hard as usual, I just haven't really seen any noticeable gains in the last few years. And once you hit your natural ceiling, you have a decision to make. You can either maintain what you've built, saying goodbye to any new gains, or you can take anabolic steroids.
Well, yeah, you do that and then say you're still natural. Easy.
I've definitely thought about using steroids.
Oh, look at that. He's holding a vial.
But I don't want to.
Okay, so he's going to go over the health side effects that come with PEDs. There's an old video of Jeff talking about his decision to not use. I could really go into that video. Psychologically, there's a lot to unpack there. We can cover that here one day, but I'm just warning you, you're probably not going to like it.
It might not even be a real thing. So for me, this experiment will answer the question of whether or not I've reached my natural ceiling, or if I simply haven't been training as hard and smart as I could be. For my brother Brad, it'll show how much muscle a new lifter can gain in 1 year of dedicated training. To start, every good experiment needs a good hypothesis. And upon deeper reflection, I think I have not reached my natural ceiling for muscle growth. I think that if I really give it my all for a full year, I'll see some new growth. And to set the standard high, I'm going to take an ambitious guess at how much muscle I'll gain this year.
I think Canadians use pounds. A lot of them, at least Jeff's type, where they're not talking in French very much. They don't use the commie units. I would assume he's going to keep this very moderate. 2 pounds?
I'm going to guess that I will gain 4 pounds of muscle.
I get it for guessing purposes, but realistically, his training experience... Okay, well, it says lean mass on the screen. Hold on, did he say muscle mass or lean mass?
I will gain 4 pounds of muscle.
Okay, those are not the same thing. Lean mass includes everything that is not fat, which is not only muscle mass. But that said, given his experience and his age too, 4 pounds of even lean mass, I think we're pushing it there.
I think Brad will gain double that, 8 or 9 pounds of muscle.
As a total novice, everything optimized in a year, we could possibly double that if we want to go off of the classic calculations. If you want to be more modest, 1 pound of muscle a month, 12, you can push it up to 16. I mean, I think most people would say Jeff has pretty good genetics for bodybuilding. His mom is buff, as far as I can remember. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I think 4 pounds of muscle is quite a bit. I mean,
do you know who I am?
For him, it might be undershooting a bit.
So with my own research team as my biggest haters, we got our starting measurements done. 5'4.7".
Right, so he is under 5'5". A lot of people will say, oh, Jeff is like 5'7", 5'8". I don't think Jeff's ever claimed taller, to be fair, but the +3 rule always applies. Guys say, oh, I'm 5'9". Oftentimes they're 5'6". I'm 5'10". On the internet, I'm 6'1".
What did you predict you were at?
I think I said 14.6. It said that I was 15.8% body fat.
I can see that. I mean, there's some ab definition, very faint. He's not flexing. You can see some in the legs as well. You know, there's some vascularity in the arms, collarbones defined. Yeah.
That was a bit higher than I expected. I thought I'd be closer to 13 or 14%. But hey, maybe I'll get that down by the end. It also said I had 132.7 pounds of lean mass. Lean mass includes your muscle mass, but it also includes your organs and body water.
Right, so as talked about a moment ago, it's not only muscle.
Brad's starting body fat was 36.2%.
I know a lot of you guys have a similar build to this right now.
For our first workout of the experiment, we're doing an upper body session, and this is the split we'll be running all year. It's a mix between an upper-lower split and a push-pull leg split.
Speaking of that, if you want to check out some of my tested and critically acclaimed programs, you can find them on my site, linked down below. Much more than exercises on a sheet, I break down everything that you need to know to make serious gains over the long haul. And like we can see here, these programs can and oftentimes should be run for at least a year or maybe longer. A lot of guys say that they run them indefinitely because the templates are so effective.
Upper on Monday, lower on Tuesday. Those are the more strength-focused workouts.
Every single one of those numbers is going to induce maximum hypertrophy too. I mean, you know, the whole strength and hypertrophy thing, like I've talked about before, guys, you can't get one without the other. Now, if you want to talk maximum strength, like powerlifting, 1 rep max, that's its own thing in a way, but I don't anticipate them doing any of that here. So to say 5 to 10 reps is for strength, No.
Followed by 3 hypertrophy-focused workouts, a push day, chest, shoulders, and triceps, a pull day, back and biceps, and another leg day.
Right, so once again, hypertrophy magically starts at 10. Strength ends at 10. No.
At this point, you may be wondering exactly what I'm doing differently this year. If I've been training already for 15 years, what am I doing differently for this experiment that I wasn't doing already? Well, with training, there are 3 new things. First, I'm taking the last set of every single exercise to failure. No exceptions.
I've heard other people in this industry talk about this throughout the years as well. I get the idea of the last set, I guess because it's not as fatiguing as doing every set to failure. We're going to see, I guess, how many sets they're doing per exercise, but why only the last set? Like, if an exercise is applicable to be taken to failure, why would you not go to failure with each set? And by default, that means you don't need to do as many total sets.
Even on heavy compound lifts like presses and squats.
Okay, so yeah, I would not advocate doing that as a general rule, for sure. Jeff at least has the safety arm set up properly, as you would expect. Most people don't do that.
I'm pushing that last set until I physically cannot get the weight up and literally drop it, obviously using safety bars. I don't know if failure makes a big difference for hypertrophy, but the latest science definitely shows a trend.
Oh, the latest science, here we go.
The harder you push, the more growth you tend to see. Before, I'd always leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank on compound exercises, even on the last set, and I still think that's a good idea for most people. But I want to go ham this year, leaving no uncertainty of whether I could have done more. Second, I'm only doing optimal exercises.
Oh, here we go.
If it doesn't build maximum muscle, I'm not doing it.
Do you notice how he just completely skipped over that point? Like I said at the beginning, guys, this stuff is just marketing. It's so unquantifiable in the truest sense.
Since Brad's a beginner, I have to ease him into the workouts. So we're starting with 1 set per exercise in week 1, 2 sets in week 2, and then 3 sets from week 3 on. And yes, he has to run the exact same program as me for scientific control.
Okay, I understand this from the sense that they're comparing the same program for the outcome. That said, you've been training 15 years, Jeff. You're on a 5-day-a-week split. This guy's a total noob. Why would he be doing the same program as you?
It's definitely a bit too advanced for him, but I think he can do it for science.
Right, for science.
See that shakiness? That's how we know you're a new lifter.
I've trained so many people in person over the years of all different creeds and colors and backgrounds. It's like watching baby deer a lot of the time.
All you're gonna do is just stick your butt back as you lower the bar straight down with straight legs.
Getting the average guy to do a successful Romanian deadlift with even his own body weight, a lot of guys can't do it. Like, they could barely get to like 60% of the range of motion his brother's at here, and they would totally lock up.
And before we knew it, it was time for our first check-in.
Moment of truth. I'm a little nervous. Are you? No. What am I nervous about?
So this was shocking. After just 1 month of training, Brad is already up 12.7 pounds of lean mass.
A lot of that's probably going to be glycogen and water and such in the muscles, since there's that new stimulus being applied. You could probably surmise too, like some bone and tendon stuff as well, but vast majority of that's gotta be water.
His body fat percentage dropped from 36.2% down to 33.4%.
I don't know if I believe that fully.
And the ultrasound showed he gained 14 millimeters on his quads and 1 millimeter on his biceps. But my 1 month results were even more surprising.
So wait, how much lean did I gain?
1,400 grams of lean mass, fat-free mass.
Okay, so 1.4 kilos.
Of lean mass.
Believe it or not, I'm also up just over 3 pounds of lean mass.
It's gotta mostly be water by default.
Unlike Brad, I did gain a little fat.
Come on, Jeff.
Body fat went from 15.8% up to 16.7%. So with that check-in as a massive motivator, Brad and I got back to work.
Okay, I don't think he's covered the diet aspects yet. I'm sure he will, but we don't know exactly what they're eating or what the goals are. Since Jeff is looking to seemingly gain as much muscle as possible, you would assume he's going to be bulking.
And in 5 months, we'll finish our bulking phase.
Oh, there we go.
And do another check-in.
Wait, he's got his brother bulking too? Starting at over 35% body fat? You guys say I'm a dirty bulker?
People say that bulking is pointless because you just get fat.
I've disproven that more times than I can count.
At the 9-month mark, we'll do a third check-in. This will be the end of our recomp phase, where we'll try to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Most people say that's impossible for advanced lifters, but I want to see for myself.
I wouldn't say it's impossible. It's just a matter of how practically can it be done. And once you're very advanced, I mean, bulking's going to be very slow then. Cutting can always be done quickly if you just keep dropping the food and adjusting those type of variables.
Then after 12 months, we'll do our final update. This will be the end of our cut phase. I want to get back down to my starting body weight to see if I'll actually keep the muscle that I gained during my bulk, or if I just lose it all again and look exactly the same as before.
That's what most people do. The dreaded yo-yo bulk and cut. The desperation dirty bulk, get too fat, oh, I gotta cut, bro. Cut a bunch of weight, realize you gained no muscle, go back and forth. I can help you with that.
You may also be wondering what we're doing for our diet. Obviously, we're both eating the exact same calories and macros. 3,000 calories, 150 grams of protein, 410 grams of carbs, and 85 grams of fat.
Okay, very standard macro split. Fat's pretty low. Protein, almost a gram per pound of body weight, and then fill the rest with carbs. Very high carbs.
Per day. And this is what a typical day of bulking meals looks like for me.
Okay, we got turkey, egg, and cheese sandwich with fruit, ground turkey and rice, protein shake, banana, Gatorade. We got chicken wrap, Greek yogurt, peanut butter dip. Okay, relatively standard meals, whatever.
If you want to pause and screenshot. All this means that I'm eating about 15% above my maintenance calories, and I'm aiming to gain around 2 pounds per month.
2 pounds per month. I get asked this all the time. I have old videos about this too. Maybe I'll make some more coming up. How much weight should I be gaining, bro? I don't like to go by a set amount of weight on a bulk. Even on a cut, I would say don't chase a specific scale number per week. But especially when bulking, that's why guys are going to gain too much fat. If you're chasing simply a scale number, muscle is slow, what do you think you're going to be gaining? As we talked about, a lot of water weight, and it can be too much fat as well. So then Jeff wants to gain 2 pounds a month here. Realistically, how many pounds of muscle do you think he can gain per month at this level he's at? 0.25? A quarter of a pound? Maybe? So if we do that divided by 2 total pounds, that's a small fraction.
Obviously, Brad shouldn't be bulking at 33% body fat.
No, he should not.
To get his best possible transformation, I should absolutely put him in a 5 to 20% caloric deficit.
As a total novice, he could cut pretty hard and not really see any ill effects currently.
And have him lose fat while building muscle. But I can't do that. If Brad's in a deficit while I'm in a surplus, that's an uncontrolled variable, and we need every variable to be the same except our training experience. So, unfortunately for Brad, he has to eat the same calories as me.
I've run out of fat, but I got like 30 carbs left, so I just gotta drink a glass of orange juice.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't drink a glass of orange juice before bed just to hit your carb intake. Jesus Christ.
I've just been staring at this orange juice now for like 10 minutes. I really just don't want to drink it. I kind of just hate orange juice now.
So, every single day, we're tracking every calorie we eat.
Weirdest thing has happened. I was having this dream about like work. I went out to lunch. I realized that I didn't track the calories or anything for the lunch that I just had, and it was like fast food.
Okay, so he's already having the body dysmorphic on the road to eating disorder dreams about not counting his calories to the T. Oh god. Good luck, bro.
Sleep is another big part of this experiment. Brad and I both wear an Aura ring every night.
What's it called? Aura farming? That's what the kids say now? Is this aura farming? Or I guess aura sleeping?
For 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and we're trying to go to sleep and wake up around the same time as well to set our circadian rhythm. New research shows that it's not just about the total sleep you get, your sleep-wake schedule also matters. Supplements are a small part of this, but here's the list of supplements.
Okay, we got 5 grams of creatine, standard protein powder as needed, 200 mg caffeine pre-workout, fish oil. You don't need to take fish oil if you are getting sufficient omega-3 in your diet, which is not hard if you eat the way that I eat.
No steroids, obviously, yet. Just kidding, I think.
There's a very obvious wink-wink joke happening there that a lot of you guys still aren't going to understand.
For the next 5 months, we're just going to follow it.
Drive it, drive it. Go again. Get a big breath. Come on, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it, push it.
This is legitimate training to failure. A lot of guys think that they're training to failure or very close, and then I see training footage and it's like, you got a ways to go.
They're so close. Oh no.
I'm 2 months into the experiment, and I'm doing a 3-week writing retreat in Mexico.
How much money do you have to take a writing retreat in Mexico? Oh, there's Miss Stephanie.
And while there are more temptations...
You notice he's showing them again? Oh god, guys. Jeff, look at this acne we got going on here, big guy. Look at that big zit. Some over here, too. You sure you didn't take those Mexican steroids?
I did a light deload week in April.
Actually not feeling too well today, and so this is going to be the first day that I skip a workout that I have scheduled.
Are you going to make your brother deload too?
After the deload, Brad, my dad, and I did a boys trip to Arizona. I hadn't seen Brad for a while, so it was great to link up and get in some good workouts together.
This goes for any experiment. We don't know what Brad is doing. We don't even know what Jeff is doing, to be fair, but assume Jeff's doing everything on par. Brad's all by himself somewhere else. Big degree of freedom. Uncontrolled. He could be skipping workouts, he could be half-assing the workouts, he could not be eating, right? That's the thing with all these experiments, man. To lock people in laboratories, by default, they're going to be for very short time frames. So you see some of these studies, they go long times, oftentimes in nutrition. We followed subjects for 5, 10, 15 years. They were not locked in labs the whole time. they were not actually being followed. They fill out questionnaires and report things. Not reliable.
My dad immediately commented on how much bigger I'm looking, and that's definitely true when I'm wearing clothes. But I think I'm actually looking softer and kind of smaller in my posing updates.
Well, that's how it goes when you're bulking. You look bigger in person than on the internet you look smaller.
What would you say is something that you're most surprised by so far?
I'm noticing that my social anxiety is almost gone completely. Now I don't even find myself like thinking about anything as I'm like going up to a counter, or if I'm approaching like customer services, I'll just go ask for something now. Before I was like, I'm figuring this out myself because I'm not getting any help.
This was a light bulb moment for me. This entire time, I've been so focused on the visual gains, I almost forgot about all the other life-changing benefits of lifting weights.
Yeah, that is a good point. I have this older video, how people treat you differently as you get jacked. You can check that out. I cover a number of aspects there.
Brad's feeling motivated too. He's much more of a night owl than me, so he'll often train later at night, but he still hasn't skipped a single workout, even if it means going to the gym at 3 a.m.
I don't know if you guys have ever trained at this hour. I think the latest I've got to the gym is around 10 or 11 p.m. Been there till about 1 or 2. Not my preference. It can be done, but man, your sleep schedule can get really thrown off. Those of you guys that work night shift know what I'm talking about.
All the lights turning on.
And just like that, the end of the bulk, and it's time to see how much muscle we put on, and how much fat we put on.
All right, dude.
He has made muscle gains for sure.
Physique check-in?
Yeah. Let's do it. Give me a flex.
Give me a shoulder flex.
How do you do that, Jeff?
Like, just kind of...
What do you want?
We both put on 15 pounds.
Yeah.
How many of those pounds for you are lean out of the 15?
Say 3.
3 pounds were lean. It's definitely more than that.
Yeah.
At the end of the 6-month bulk, Brad is up 13 pounds of lean mass, and his body fat percentage is down 1.2%.
Some people might not realize how is that possible. He's built muscle, his metabolism has revved up. I mean, you can see the visual difference there.
He went from 36.2% at the beginning to 35.0% now, and that's while eating 3,000 calories per day. It really goes to show the power of building muscle. I was a little confused at first though, because when you look at his 1-month data, it looks like he gained 12.7 pounds of lean mass in that first month, which means he only gained another 0.3 pounds of lean mass in the next 5 months? Probably not. Remember that lean mass includes muscle and water.
Like I said.
And so I think a lot of Brad's initial gains were actually water gains from taking creatine for the first time and from getting rammed into a high volume training program. Regardless, his 6-month trend shows impressive body recomposition, being up 13 pounds of lean mass while being down 1.2% body fat.
Right, so as I've talked about, guys, it is possible to bulk into abs. He has not done that. Maybe he can down the line. I would still cut in this scenario. That said, this whole idea, oh, bulking so fat, so terrible, it gets disproven over and over, but all of the so-called science-based kids on Instagram and TikTok, they know better, apparently.
Okay, my turn.
You get the results? Are they in?
They're in.
After 6 months of fully optimized training, and with more than 15 years of training already under my belt, I added 4.5 pounds of lean mass. The thing was, I also gained, ready for this, 11 pounds of fat.
There you go. That's what happens.
That's a bit much. It means my body fat went from 15% at the beginning to just over 20% now.
I mean, it's not surprising. And he mentioned earlier, right, looking bigger?
I'm kind of excited to cut down and see how much muscle I retain. But let's put this in context. If we pretend this chicken breast is my lean mass and this pile of lard is my fat mass, this is what I put on my body during the bulk. Again, not all my lean mass is pure muscle tissue, some of it is water. But yes, I did put on 4.5 pounds of lean mass.
A lot of that is going to be water still. So actual muscle he gained in this time frame, again, we don't have actual training logs to see the progression of the weights and everything. That will be very key. Being very generous, maybe a single pound of muscle, maybe. I still think that's quite generous given his experience.
So now, the real question is, what will happen if I lose all this extra fat? Will I keep this new muscle that I added, or will I lose that too?
All right, 6 months of that.
This is how the science-based kids strap in to do a single arm tricep press down.
So for the recomp phase, we're dropping our calories down to 2,800 calories per day.
Okay, so we're dropping 200. Okay, for a recomp, I understand that. But I'd like to see his brother really cut down.
And these will be our new macros to follow for the next 3 months. A few weeks into the recomp phase, the first thing I notice is that my strength is basically hitting a plateau. It's not a big deal, I'm still pushing just as hard, I'm just not seeing my numbers go up every week like I was during the bulk. But I do feel like my physique is tightening up a bit. 1 month into the recomp phase, Brad and I went to Japan for 3 weeks.
These guys just traveling all over the world.
For this trip, also I got a haircut. For this trip, we're gonna do as much walking as possible because we're in recomp mode. So we're not gonna take the escalator. We're gonna actually walk.
Well, that's the amount of cardio that I do. just walking that I do by default and standing. You might not be able to tell, but I'm standing right now. I have a standing desk. Now if I'm cutting, especially to do a show, I will do formal cardio then, usually walking a good amount of it per day, like on a treadmill, beyond simple just scheduled steps. But right now, when I'm bulking, no cardio. I go by the people at the treadmills at the gym and I'm just like, ugh. If I get too close to a treadmill, I may have an allergic reaction.
We still got everything tracked, and I don't think we got too far off, but we were a bit more lenient than usual. And sushi was definitely the highlight. I've never had such delicious fish in my life.
All right, it's our first workout in Japan. We're gonna switch over to a full body split.
Okay, so we're going to an entirely different split now during the Recomp. 3-day full body. A classic. And you could argue what his brother should have been on from the onset.
3 days a week, and that'll just allow us to get in slightly more efficient workouts and not spend quite so much time in the gym so we can actually enjoy Japan.
Oh, they're only doing this for Japan.
Once we got back home, we switched back to the tried and true upper-lower push-pull legs hybrid split, still taking the last set of every exercise to failure.
Drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it. Yes, sir.
Props to his brother. He is pushing himself very hard.
Come on, dude. Come on.
I was maintaining my weight at around 180 pounds, and I felt like my physique was looking a bit sharper.
So just for comparison here, Jeff is maintaining his weight at about 180 pounds. He's sit on about 2,800. If I ate 2,800, I will probably get to about 10% body fat with enough time. It takes me over 5,000 a day to just incrementally see the scale creep up. Like I said recently, I have dropped below 190 recently, and I'm trying to get back up to 190. My body composition is improving, which is good. My strength is still going up pretty reliably on most things right now. But the amount of food that I have to eat, my fellow ectomorphs, you know what I'm talking about.
The month of September flew by, and it was time for our post-recomp check-in. Did I manage to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, or did I just spin my wheels for the last 3 months? Turns out, I actually lost 0.8 pounds of lean mass.
Oh no!
Since our last check-in. That's within the DEXA's margin of error, but it's still a bit disappointing. It's also kind of what I expected. At my level of advancement, I think you really need at least a slight caloric surplus to keep muscle growth moving. Maintenance calories probably just won't cut it. I guess it's also possible that switching to the full body split and our time in Japan threw me off a bit.
Once again, guys, big variable that we don't fully know about. So, all this science stuff that everybody talks about like it's gospel. So many things you have to consider with it.
But I was still training super hard, and I was still eating a high-protein diet. So I really just think that maintenance calories wasn't enough to drive new growth for me.
The science-based main gainers will be all over this, I'm sure.
At least not within 3 months. On the upside, I did lose half a pound of fat. Brad's results were a bit better. He lost 3.5 pounds of fat, and this got his body fat percentage down to 33.8%. He did lose 0.7 pounds of lean mass since the last check-in, but that's also within the margin of error, and I suspect that if there was any loss, it's probably not actual muscle tissue.
No, definitely not.
Since he didn't lose any strength. You see, at every check-in, we've also been testing our muscle strength using this Biodex isokinetic dynamometer.
What the hell did you just say?
Basically, you just press against this foot pad as hard as you can, and the computer measures how hard you pushed.
This is the hypertrophy equivalent of a powerlifting meet, I take it?
Since the beginning of the experiment, Brad's strength has trended up. My strength also trended up, but not by as much as Brad's. At my last check-in, it was down a bit. So this time, I was determined to have my best strength test yet. I buckled myself into the machine, and on command, I pressed as hard as I possibly could. I got a massive isokinetic dynamometer PR of 359.2 Newton meters.
I'm getting really upset.
We always take 3 measurements though, so I buckled back in for round 2.
2, 1. Oh, no, hold on.
He might have pulled something.
Felt something really weird in my knee.
And I injured my knee.
Looks like he's got on the Dad Force 1s too, the New Balances. Experienced lifter? Yeah, this is prime injury time, Jeff. You're getting old, bro.
Partially torn tendon.
Partially torn tendon? From the isokinetic dynamometer? This is what happens, man, when you ego lift. When you push your leg into the pad too hard, you hurt yourself. Oh my god.
That sucks. So I just finished up the first workout, basically the first rehab workout after I injured my knee. I'm basically using lighter weights with a really slow tempo for now. So I've been using a 3-second negative, pause in the stretch, 3-second positive. That will keep some tension on the quads, but it just pales in comparison to the intensity and the load that I'd normally use.
This is incredible, bro. Like, all the normal training, all this stuff, totally fine. Then he goes to squeeze as hard as he can against a machine, and he gets injured. I've seen a number of odd gym injuries in my day, but this may take the cake.
Not an ideal way to kick off the cut, even though in this case, I don't think it had anything to do with my training. I think it was just being fasted, not having anything to eat, and then having to go and do an all-out isometric strength test.
I don't think being fasted had anything to do with it.
Is probably not like the safest thing in the world. And we also, because of like time constraints and everything, didn't do any warm-up before that test.
That may have something to do with it.
Like, regardless, it is what it is. It happens. Could have been worse.
Could have been your upper body.
For a cut, we're dropping down to 2,200 calories per day and bumping our protein up to 190 grams. Since it worked so well during the bulk, we decided to keep going with the upper-lower push-pull leg split, swapping out a few exercises, but keeping the overall structure the same. For my own recovery, I started stopping about 1 rep shy of failure on compound lifts. That's just because I really didn't want an upper body injury to deal with too.
Did you make your brother do the same thing though?
And with less calories, you do need to be a little more careful. I'm still pushing the last sets of all the isolation exercises to failure though. At the 1 year mark, Brad and I aren't quite back to our starting body weight yet, and I really need us to both get back to the weight we started the experiment at for the true test of net muscle gain.
Okay, Jeff, time to get in a fat suit and get on the treadmill. Classic wrestler cut.
Crash diet either, since I know that can accelerate muscle loss.
I think I'm going to extend it until March.
You can't do that now, Jeff. Come on.
Under the assumption that we're both giving it 100%. If you're in, I'm in.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we have violated the parameters set forward at the beginning. I understand, but once again, guys, uncontrolled variable.
Walked back in for another 2 months, and then it was time for the final check-in.
I don't know what Jeff is doing with these glasses on and like the buzz cut now. I don't know if this is the look for you, Jeff.
It blew my mind that we both nailed the weigh-ins exactly to the decimal. I started this experiment at 164.6 pounds, and I'm ending it just over 1 year later at exactly 164.6 pounds.
Seems almost too good to be true.
The question is, am I carrying more muscle now? Let's start with Brad's final results.
49.
Wow, that's good.
Lean mass.
So he's up 4 kilos of lean mass.
Lean mass, yeah.
That means from the start of the experiment to now, he's up 10 pounds of lean mass and down, get this, 10 pounds of fat mass.
You could argue he could have made all the muscle gain that he did, even cutting relatively on the more cautious side of things speed-wise. But I think he could have gained pretty much all that muscle if he was cutting the entire time.
And his final strength test was also his best ever. Perhaps even cooler though, his Oura Ring is now saying that his heart health has improved by about 4 years. From the beginning of the experiment to the end of the experiment, at the exact same body weight, I gained 2.7 pounds of lean mass.
Lean mass, not muscle. We'll see how he explains this.
That may not sound like much to some of you, but think about it. This is what the lean mass I added would look like if it were ribeye steaks. So that's basically like putting on almost 4 huge steaks worth of tissue in 1 year.
But also water. It's not all just going to be slabs of beef as illustrated here.
And at just under 5'5", adding that much tissue across my body is going to make a visual difference. I definitely see the biggest difference in my chest and my back, but I see some gains in my shoulders and hamstrings too. Now, if you remember, the reason I cut down is because I really wanted to see how much muscle I'd retain from my bulk. So at the end of my bulk, I was up 4.5 pounds of lean mass, and now I'm still up 2.7 pounds of lean mass. So yes, I did retain most of those gains while cutting down. I kept more than half the lean mass that I put on, which I think is pretty solid. I'm also leaner now.
Yeah, you see, even at this body fat, I think he's minimum about 15% or so, if we're being just ballpark with it. Still got visible abs, right? I mean, he's got some lines in his shoulders, got the veins in the arms showing, got some lines in his legs. I mean, this is what happens when you build a lot of muscle over time. You look leaner and leaner at even higher body fats.
I started the experiment at 15.8% body fat, and now I'm down to 14.5% body fat.
Yeah, so I'm pretty close.
The ultrasound results also showed that I gained net muscle in my biceps even after the cut.
Oh, there we go, bro, bicep gains.
My quads also grew significantly during the bulk, but basically came back down to baseline after the cut. I'm gonna blame that on my knee injury, especially my left quad, which did lose more muscle, and that's the knee that I injured. Also, for the sake of scientific transparency, we also took BIA, or bioelectrical impedance measurements, throughout the study. This is the type of device you'll often see in commercial gyms.
This was the thing I took before my show last summer. It said I was 3% body fat. I don't think so.
It says that I lost 1 pound of lean mass. This probably would have gutted me if I didn't have access to higher quality, more expensive, and more sensitive equipment. BIA has about twice the error margin of a DEXA machine, and I honestly just think my gains were well within the error bars.
Notice too, he's posing differently on the right. He has his right shoulder fanned out, he's twisting more than he is here. So visually speaking, it looks like he did make some gains in the delts and the arms, like he said. Slight amount. He's got on, I don't know if this is underwear here. Here he has on shorts, so more of the leg is covered up. You know, those visual differences, even in the same lighting and everything, they do make a difference. Looks like he has a little bit more body hair over here, so that's a negative for this side.
Plus, the DEXA results, the ultrasound results, the strength results, and the before and after photos all quite clearly show that I made gains. The question we all want to know.
Oh, now we're going back to this topic again, huh, Jeff?
I use steroids. No. I think I proved to myself that I can still make gains, even 15 years deep.
Okay, so that was the framing of this. Am I going to use steroids? No, because I made a little bit of gains. Okay.
If I really commit. I don't have any regrets about the training program, but if I had my time back, I think I would have bulked a little less aggressively. I think that if I had gained, say, half the weight during my bulk, I may have gained a similar amount of lean mass, but with less fat. As for the so-called natural ceiling, I still do think it theoretically exists.
Well, of course it does. I mean, you're not going to be able to just keep making gains indefinitely, even by the matter of age. Like, as you get older and older, you've been training like, say, Jeff has. I think Jeff is roughly my age, almost around age 30 or so. I'm in my late 20s. Like, Father Time in of itself is going to at least cap off the gains that you can make. And then eventually, you can surmise, which I have no experience there myself, but you're going to start losing some, you would think.
At least on paper. If you could just keep building muscle indefinitely, anyone still lifting in their 70s or 80s would be the biggest bodybuilders alive.
Right.
But I think I did show that you can kind of push your natural ceiling up with optimized training and diet.
Okay, once again, optimized training, completely subjective. From what I've seen, though, Jeff looked like he was training harder here than I have seen him do in the past. More intensity. That's probably the biggest thing.
At the very least, I think I showed that's possible. So my next goal now is to get shredded, properly shredded, under 8% body fat.
Yeah, that's painful.
And Brad said he's gonna keep going with the cut too. Actually, while I was editing this video, he lost another 5 or 6 pounds, and this was his latest physique update that he just sent me.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a fair amount of fat in the chest there. That's hurting his physique in terms of aesthetics. Once he drops that, that's an interesting place to hold a lot of fat comparatively. Okay, what is this?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up?
Not much, man. Just barbecuing, relaxing. I'm so glad that we're done.
Done. Bro, that was just the first part. Yeah, we've got a whole other experiment to do.
Oh.
Hey, I'll see you at the gym, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we've got the cliffhanger ending. So I guess they're both going to get shredded. That's my assumption. And then they'll probably go on steroids, as Jeff has alluded to a number of times in this video. And they'll do it naturally, though, because, you know, that's what happens. But as always with Jeff, that was well edited. It was well executed in terms of the overall video itself and the quality. Props to them for that. And be sure to check out Magna down below to get the most optimized hydration supplement full of all the magnesium that you need. And use code REVIVAL to save. But this has been it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. To check out my training programs and my nutrition guide, see the links down below. If you want to talk to me about online coaching or do a consultation, links are down below as well, or get in direct contact with me via direct message. Everything's in the description box. And I will catch you guys next time.